Here are the cast members and the characters they play. Anthon Prosam as Jane Picha. Jane, a well-known psychiatrist and a workaholic. Her picture-perfect life with a loving husband, Athen, a pair of adorable children, and a successful career is shattered when she discovers her husband's secret affair with a university student, Kate. She pretends to act normal while secretly gathering evidence of her husband's infidelity to build a strong divorce case against him. She resorts to unethical means in the process, ensuring not only her divorce from him but also gaining custody of their children and not losing her assets to him. However, upon observing her children's strong bond with her husband, she eventually chooses to give him another chance. Upon Athen's continued infidelity with Kate, she renews her desire to divorce him and decides to expose him at the right time and in the right place. Faced with the reality that her children, particularly her son, have sided with Athen, she adeptly crafts a plan to permanently separate them from their father. Living happily with her children and enjoying a thriving career, her life is once again shattered when Athen reappears, seeking to entice their children away from her. During this period, despite drowning herself in alcohol, which affects her career and damages her reputation, she vows to fight to keep her children. Ananda Matthew Everingham as Athen, a struggling hotelier who depends financially on his wife to a great extent. He loves his wife, Jane, and shares a closer bond with their two children than their mother but feels insecure due to Jane's greater success. These feelings of his lead to him having a secret affair with a university student, Kate, the daughter of a prominent hotelier and a socialite. His act of infidelity is known not only to his mother but also close friends of both him and Jane, yet they all collaborate to conceal this truth from her. Unaware that Jane has confirmed her initial suspicions about his affair with Kate, he continues to deceive her into believing otherwise. However, he finds it increasingly challenging to keep his secret affair from Jane when Kate becomes pregnant and pressures him to divorce his wife. Indecisive, he procrastinates divorcing his wife as he still loves her and does not want to break up his family for the sake of his children. It is only when his secret is finally exposed by his wife and he falls into a plot devised by Jane that he is finally forced to divorce and leave his family for Kate. He re-emerges in Jane's life 2 years later with his wife, Kate, and a daughter, resolute in his efforts to win his children away from Jane. Patricia Tanchinok Good as Kate, a university student. Having been in a secret affair with Athen for over 2 years, her deep love for him has led her to believe and patiently wait for his repeated promises to divorce his wife, Jane. After becoming pregnant and being dissuaded by Athen from having an abortion, she starts to pressure him to divorce his wife and marry her. After eventually marrying Athen following the exposure of the truth to her parents and her ultimatum to him to choose between her or Jane, she returns with Athen 2 years later, attempting to win over Athen's 2 children. Due to her youthfulness, she is able to resonate with Athen's teenage son. She gradually gains the acceptance of Athen's son, Fat but not his sister, when he moves in to live with Athen and her. As much as she tries to please her stepson, Fat, her bond with him begins to deteriorate when she starts to discipline him and blames his mother, Jane, for his poor upbringing. At the same time, with support from her mother, she joins the hospital board as Jane and tries to surpass Jane in a project. Her normally tolerant self begins to waver upon suspecting that Athen still appears unable to forget his ex-wife, Jane. Madhupatnam Jirawat Mac as Fat, son of Athen and Jane. He shares a closer bond with his father, Athen, than with his mother, Jane, who is strict and prioritizes her job over family. He remains silent when he stumbles upon his father with Kate, as he does not want the truth to affect his parents' marriage. Initially resentful towards his father Athen following his parents' separation, he ultimately favors Athen over his mother and gradually begins to accept Kate as his father's wife. However, greatly affected by his parents' divorce, his bond with Kate does not last long. Additionally, he begins to resent both of his parents as well. Machida Sudalkofanich Maki as Ploy, daughter of Athen and Jane. Unlike her brother Fat, she naively informs her mother about what she witnesses between Kate and her father, and chooses not to live with him upon her parents' separation. The breakdown of her family and the ensuing turmoil eventually have a negative impact on her behavior. Sakuntala Temperich. As Rosarin, Rose. A doctor and Jane's colleague and good friend. She is Athen's childhood friend who is also close to Jane as they both work in the same hospital. She betrays Jane by not only keeping Athen's infidelity secret from her but also aiding him in attempting to deceive Jane and prevent her from discovering the truth. Even after her betrayal is eventually uncovered and forgiven by Jane, she persists in betraying her, going as far as implicating Jane of a crime she did not commit. As Athen and Jane's marriage deteriorates, she finally decides to no longer side with him. Suthirak Subhijitra. As Tool. An actor and Jane's patient. He has admired Jane ever since his first consultation with her. Befriending her thereafter, he provides her emotional support and necessary assistance when she is troubled by her failed marriage. Standing by Jane's side all the time while she goes through tough times, he eventually wins over her as well as her children. Sacred Rukhthamrong. As Bunya. A wealthy hotelier, Kate's father. Unlike his wife, he pampers his daughter, Kate, supporting every decision she makes. Although he dislikes Athen, he is eventually being forced to accept him as his son-in-law and having him assist in managing his business. Harboring mistrust towards Athen, he hires someone to monitor him. Penpak Sirikul. As Mintra. Kate's mother, a socialite. A socialite, she is a major patron of the hospital where Jane works and holds her in high regard. Unaware of her daughter Kate's affair with Athen and concerned that Kate might develop feelings for her good friend Nan, she arranges a blind date with a man from a respectable family for her daughter. Respected by Jane all along, their mutual relationship of respect takes a hit after Jane humiliates her daughter, Kate, in her presence following the exposure of Kate's affair with Athen. Holding a grudge against Jane ever since, she tries to undermine Jane's prominence in society and damage her career. Chatahio Dam Hiraniatidi. Chai. As Chat. Athen and Jane's neighbor, Athen's financial consultant. He is Athen and Jane's neighbor and good friend, who has no qualms about openly declaring his admiration for her. Due to lust, he succumbs to Jane's plot and is subsequently blackmailed by her into assisting her in gathering confidential financial information about Athen. Rinlali Sripan. Joy. As Anna. Chat's wife and Jane's good friend. Driven by jealousy over her husband's open admiration for Jane and their one-night stand, she resorts to social media to bring her good friend down. However, she eventually reconciles with Jane and remains her good friend, taking care of Jane's children whenever Jane is busy and not at home. Rafi Pong Thapsuan. Bright. As Nan. Kate's best friend. He is Kate's supportive best friend who has been aware of her affair with Athen from the very beginning. His warnings to Kate, cautioning her about Athen's reliability when she becomes pregnant, go unheeded because she has full trust in Athen. Nevertheless, he continues to support her. Namnung Sudyadakanai. As Toy. Jane's patient. Suffering from abuse by her boyfriend, she consults Jane for help, only to end up being hired by Jane to spy on her husband, Athen. She deliberately befriends Kate, trying to convince her to refrain from engaging in an affair with a married man, hoping that this will lead Kate to consider leaving Athen. Pathai Plomika. As Dan. Toy's abusive boyfriend who was sent to prison by Jane and later returns to exact revenge on her. Kultira Yurchang. As Nana. Fat's schoolmate turned girlfriend. Pijika Jitaputta. As June. Nana's mother, Athen's secretary who conceals his secret from Jane. Wachrapal Non-Pakti. Party. as Saifa, a medical assistant who is supportive of Jane. Hanawat Premaninen. Ice, as Peta, Kate's blind date. Niranak Padamasut, as Soizan, Athens' mother who wants Jane to accept Athens' infidelity. Paramej Noyam, as Dr. Kirk, Jane's former professor. Hasaya E. Surya Sarikul, as Dr. Nietzsche, Athens' friend and a psychiatrist. Thanachaya Trisirikasam, as Rene, Kate's good friend. Jira Yangyon, as bank manager. Parati Wongsawat, as Parati, one of Jane's patients. Suffokit Wedge Sarajkit, as hospital's director, Jane's superior. Orasri Balenciaga Honold, as a board member of the hospital that Jane works in. Sariya Nararath, as Jane's childhood caretaker. Dujdau Vadhanapakorn, as Jane's childhood psychiatrist. Siren Kaya Bunsuan. Freya, as Jane, as a girl. Credit to Thai Channel 3. Thank you for watching.